Arabic. And last year, or early this year, I was at the mayor's. I went to the mayor's reception, and they introduced this new DEPCA group that just started. They're all like 8th and 9th graders, girls. And I expected to see these Arab girls coming up to do DEPCA. It was actually young African American girls who learned DEPCA because they got really interested in it because they were doing the Arabic classes in their school. So Arabic, it's not just for Muslim kids to learn. Like for me personally, I feel like it's very important for non-Muslims to learn as well, because they learn more about the culture, traditions, and then Muslims and Arabs won't be so scary anymore. So I think these are 4 very important issues. And again, it's good for you before Lobby Day to go to the CIRGC website, print them out, learn what the issues are, and also kind of take into consideration what talking points, how can I be brief when I talk to Senator Collins about these 4 issue agendas. But also expect that some of the legislators are most likely not going to support a lot of these agenda items, but how do we argue for the importance of these agenda items? So we have four total, as far as I know. If you have any questions, please feel free.
I think one of the questions was from our community who participated last year, how these bills get selected for advocacy.
Okay.
And I think, again, I would like to stress more on how do we talk to legislators on these issues. For example, if a legislator says, why does it bother you, right? I don't know, they might not be this rude, but I think we should be prepared as to why we travel so far, and things, something like focus on that if possible.
So the first question was, how do we choose the issues? Right. So you talk about the Muslim Action Day issues?
Yeah, I think the council, is there a process, how?
So considering, mashallah, CIOGC is very, very diverse membership. So you have, Muslims from all over. You have Arab Muslims, South Asian Muslims, African American Muslims. And we want to make sure that, all the Muslim community members are represented in the different issue agendas. This year, somebody said, well, what is food, nutrition? How does that affect the Muslim community? We're well off. We don't need health and nutrition. Well, unfortunately, not all Muslims are, living in, Oak Lawn or in Bridgeview. We have, a large African American Muslim community living in the southeast side of Chicago who are affected by these small business owners on the corner selling, only Twinkies or those little Debbie snacks. And the fact that, there's no fresh fruits and vegetables there, the fact that they sell actually expired foods as well affects those communities. So we have to make sure that we're aware, beyond of Ahlam's community, Ahlam's life, living in the southwest suburbs, that there are a lot of Muslims out there who are living in very poor communities, and we as a Muslim community should stand together and fight on those issues. So I think as a council, they look at, the diverse communities that we're servicing. So that's one thing, and what the needs are in those communities. But also looking at, how do we partner with our allies across the state. We have a lot of faith partners, the Methodists, Presbyterians. We have a lot of coalitions that we're a part of, United Power for Action and Justice, Illinois Coalition for Immigrant Refugee Rights. So when we're advocating for issues, we need to look at what our allies are actually advocating for as well and support them. Like, for example, the Immigrant Integration Services line item, that's an ICRR agenda item. So we're taking that on. The food and nutrition is something that IMAD, Inner City Muslim Action Network, is working on, and we're taking that on. And the sponsor of the food and nutrition program, the bill, is actually Senator Collins, who's one of our senators on the southwest side of Chicago. So it's taking many different things into account when we choose our issue agendas. So it's not just about our Muslim community, our diverse, mashallah, Muslim community, but also our allies and our partners across the state and what they're working on. Because when we support other coalition partners on their issues, they're going to support the Muslim community on our issues. So it's kind of a give and take thing, right? The second part, which is, well, how do you actually talk to them if they ask you a question like, well, why should I support Arabic in the schools? So, and that question actually was asked to me about a month and a half ago. I was in Springfield and found out there was a hearing, a House hearing for the Arabic in the schools. So Representative Flowers, who's sponsoring in the House, said, come to this hearing. And one of the reps said, well, why is this important? Why, is it that we choose Arabic when there's all these other different foreign languages? There's too many foreign languages to choose from, right? My response to him was, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, Arabic is one of the languages that was chosen as a critical language by the State Department. It was Arabic, it was Mandarin, and a few other languages that were chosen as critical languages, right? So it's important for us as Americans to learn English according to the State Department. Number two, yes, there's many foreign languages offered at these different public schools, but Latin, who learns Latin these days, Also, the fact that the Muslim community is growing, the Arab community is growing in the state of Illinois, it's important for our young people, not Muslims and Arabs just, but others as well, to learn more about the culture. And learning the language is the first step to learning about the culture, religion, and traditions. So that was my other argument to him. And I said, plus it's not mandated. We're not mandating that all public schools offer Arabic as a second language, as a foreign language. What we're saying is schools should have the option, at least, of offering Arabic as a foreign language. And depending on, who's in that school and if the youth there are interested in learning. Another question was asked, well, we're in a state budget crisis right now. We can't afford to add something else to our public school system. We're having cuts in education. My response to the legislator was, well, this is not state money. There's federal funds that were put aside just for these strategic languages, to teach Mandarin, to teach Chinese, to teach Arabic. So it's not state funding, it's federal funding. There are going to be issues like, for example, on the food bill, where people say, well, we don't have any money, to provide these businesses in these small communities with healthier food. But this money is not general funds from the state, it's actually capital funds from the state. And that's one thing right now legislators are working on who are sponsoring this bill. There's going to be issues, regarding money. There's going to be issues regarding just kind of having that challenge. Like Dana said earlier, when they were talking about the ex-offender bill last year, it was a very strong debate. It was a very heated debate. And that's why knowing each bill and what the pluses and minuses are of each bill is very important, so you're ready to respond. And if you can't respond right then and there, whether it's a negative question or a positive question, you can always follow up with them. A few years ago when ICRI was working on the Jabra certificate bill, it was a very heated bill. That's a bill that we've been working on for over 12 years now. 2 years ago, we had a great opportunity to actually pass it through both House and Senate. We passed it through the House, which was really great. That was the first time in 12 years. And we almost passed it to the Senate. We're very close. But it's still on hold. So it's been 2 years that the bill has been on hold. But I made sure I was well informed about the advantages of having Jabra certificates for the undocumented. But also I knew I was ready for the counter-arguments by the legislators. Things like them saying, well, if people came in illegal, then they don't deserve to have a driver's license. My response was, well, they're driving anyway. They're driving their kids to school. They're driving their kids, to after school.